Three, two, one. Good morning and welcome to your Wednesday edition of the Morning Jog. My name is Matt Cohan and I am joined today by the undeniable Francis Ellis and Robbie Berger. Hello, boys.
Hi.
3 cups of coffee deep, ready to go.
If for you at home, you guys listening to this on Anchor, Robbie is dressed up like a stop sign here. That is a nice shirt, dude.
You look like a sideline coach, like an assistant. You're like the strength and conditioning coach who doesn't know what to do with his hands.
This is like a 4 p.m. outfit, not a 9 a.m. outfit whatsoever.
Yeah.
And for those of you at home, Francis, I guarantee the room you're in has a live, laugh, love tapestry somewhere.
It may, or like a candle with a Bible passage on it.
All right, boys. Our first topic of the day is something I know Mr. Ellis is very nuanced in: country club sports. Top-ranked tennis player and anti-vaxxer Novak Djokovic announced Tuesday that he and his wife have COVID-19 after he played in a series of exhibition matches he organized in Serbia and Croatia with zero social distancing amid the coronavirus pandemic. Just days before the event, he was seen, quote, half naked in a Belgrade nightclub, according to Daily Mail. In April, he was criticized for saying he would not take a vaccine for the virus in order to be able to compete, even if it were mandatory for travel. In May, when he was staying in Spain, he broke local rules by practicing at a tennis club before it was allowed. Most recently, Djokovic complained that the U.S. Tennis Association planned to protect the people from the virus during the U.S. Open with such measures as limiting the size of players' entourage, going so far as to say he didn't know whether he would go in the tournament in New York. Robbie, are you shedding a tear for Djokovic here?
Look, every sport needs a villain, and it doesn't stop at tennis. Tennis now has their villain. I think, wasn't Novak Djokovic already kind of a villain in tennis? I think he was kind of love or hate him type guy. Little bit of an attitude, too. You know, who it kind of reminds me of, it's kind of got some Rudy Gobert vibes right now. I mean, just no regard for it. Comes back to bite him in the ass. Tennis just got their new villain, Novak Djokovic. Every sport needs one.
Wow. I mean, you compared the top tennis player in the world to Rudy Gobert. I mean, that's a tough.
It had the vibes, though, as far as just not even caring or having any regard for it. And the next thing you know, boom, there's the headline. He's got it. Just turned villain.
True. Francis?
Look, I'm not a huge believer in God, but
where is this going here, folks? Brace yourselves right now.
I'm not really sure where I stand on the whole God question, but if there were evidence that God has a sense of humor, it's that the guy who is anti-vax is, of course, stricken with coronavirus. And by the way, I say that one of the most outspoken sort of public figures who's anti-vax, right? Of course he's going to get the disease. Now, the whole anti-vax thing, people making a lot of that, there is no vaccine yet. So it would be more ironic if there were a vaccine available, Novak had passed on it, and then had gotten coronavirus. All this really speaks to is that Novak, you know, held this tennis tournament and basically was very flippant about the threat of coronavirus, and a bunch of people got it. And we've seen that in a lot of places. So is it too bad? Yes. I'm not worried about Novak's health. Tennis players are in better shape than just about anybody on earth. At the same time, have you seen the shape of Novak Djokovic's head? He looks like a human from Toy Story.
Yeah, got that Humpty Dumpty.
Yeah, like
he looks like a guy that would have corona.
Yeah, exactly. It's just a strange head that looks like it got pushed out of some kind of homemade pasta machine, too thin. So, you know, I guess if we think that he's being somebody who is contributing to people not taking corona as seriously as they should anymore, then yeah, it's good, and we can champion the fact that he got it, because hopefully it'll raise awareness that this thing is still around. It's coming back. We all need to go back into our cellars or wherever. I don't like Novak because I'm a huge Nadal Federer guy, but you know, he'll be fine. he's going to kick this thing like a common cold, I think.
In hand up, like probably a month ago, I was hating on people in Florida for going to the beach. I went this weekend to the beach, and it was a lovely time. I had a lovely time. I stayed there for 4 hours. Made a few new friends. It was great. You know, I'm a man with no integrity though. So
I've been handing out hugs like I'm a subway groper, dude. It's been I've been just totally changed my stance on all this.
Yeah, no, I've been going in hugs for the past. I've been dishing out hugs past 2 weeks probably.
Yeah, and no data. There's no empirical data that I'm working off. Like, you know, it's just kind of, this is socially accepted kind of now. God, I'm such a bitch. All right, fellas. Speaking of being reckless with highly transmittable viruses, comedian Joey Diaz has taken a bold approach in response to the backlash he's received after a 2011 clip of him claiming to coerce female comedians for sexual favors in exchange for stage time at a local comedy club went viral. Diaz's social media activity proves he's still relishing in the mob's cancellation attempts, tweeting, "It's Monday. The story is 23 years old. The video is 10 years old. And at the end of the day, you've all sucked the cock for a dinner. Stop the hypocrisy." He tweeted again, "On the seventh day, God created balls," in all caps. "You motherfuckers are in no danger. In other words, you can all suck la minka." In response to attempts at cancellations over the years, Diaz tweeted, "If they could stop me then, now that I'm 57, I really don't give a Frenchman's fuck." Francis, Joey Diaz rewriting the cancellation playbook here.
It's amazing. It's amazing. It's almost like the Trump debate strategy. And I'm going to rip from my buddy Shane Gillis's stand-up bit here, so forgive me. But, you know, when you attack this guy, it's as if he's just saying, wrong.
Yeah.
And nobody is prepared for that.
I know.
Nobody's prepared. Nobody's ever used that defense before, right? And I imagine it had to have broken the brains of all these 22 to 25-year-old white women. It just, how do you break their brains? You just say like, "Fuck you, suck my dick. I stand by what I said." What an amazing defense! What a simple arithmetical defense. You know, the thing is, comedians aren't the problem. If Joey Diaz is look, predators who are comedians, yeah, that's a problem, right? But joking about anything is not the problem. They need to reset their sights on people who are actually committing bad shit. Joey Diaz is you know, he's from the old school of comedy. Someone once told me that Doug Stanhope was, you know, one of the legends of comedy. When he first started out doing comedy, he would walk half his audience, right? And he was so controversial.
Half his audience?
Like, he'd go to a comedy club and he would do jokes, and half the audience would hate what he was saying so much that they would get up and leave in the middle of his act. But what would happen was the half that remained liked him so much that he just kept growing that and growing that and growing that until he finally had people coming out to see him who relished everything he said and would stand by everything he said. Right. Joey Diaz is doing that too. He basically says, if you don't like me, go fuck yourself.
Right.
Go off and live your life. I have no problem with you. That's fine. But I'm going to keep doing me. And if people like it, great. And I have to say, I think that's like a pretty good strategy.
Right. Yeah. Before you start, Robbie, I'm going to color this context with Diaz's history because it may provide a little context here. He found his mother dead at 16. His dad died when he was 3. He was passed around by 4 families during his teenage years. He spent 16 months for kidnapping and aggravated robbery. He's done Artie Lang levels of cocaine, and he only quit because his cat ingested it. I mean, this guy is built for the animosity here. Robbie, take it away.
I think it's funny you mentioned Artie Lang, Matt, because, in all honesty, I could see Artie Lang having the exact same type response to it all, for better or for worse. But first off, Francis nailed it with the Trump analogy, with the wrong. But at the same time, too, I don't think Twitter knows what to do right now because nobody saw that coming. I even look at it and I'm thinking, now we got a front row seat to see how people react to it. And it makes you think, if it does go well for Joey Diaz, maybe more people start to take that approach. And maybe this just turns into a total shit show. But it's an approach that we haven't seen yet.
Yeah.
With any of this, nobody's seen pretty much just come and just give a big fuck you right back at it. Like I said, for better or for worse, but now I'm so intrigued just to see where it goes now from here. Does it, throw gas on the fire, or do people now settle down and leave him alone?
I think he's also helped by the fact that he's always been an open book. And let's not forget, this was his own omission, like it's not like Jerry Seinfeld's this is like Joey Diaz, who's been very open about his struggles for 20 years or whatever.
Which is very Artie Lang type too.
Yeah. Artie Lang is another guy built for this,
No doubt about it.
And long live Artie Lang. What a fucking legend that guy is.
God.
I'm absolutely shocked he's still kicking.
You said long live Artie Lang. I was going to say, is he dead yet? Because I mean, it could come any day. I love that man, but
knock on wood, he's clean now. He's like 10 months clean, and he's he still smokes like a chimney.
You seen that guy's nose from all the blow he's done?
Yeah,
Holy shit!
Yeah. The story about him doing blow in a pig costume when he was on Mad TV. You guys at home, you guys should Google that. It's fucking hilarious. But little light video for later, fellas. We're moving on to our third topic here. Speaking of things involving hard sticks and balls refusing to get canceled, Major League Baseball owners voted unanimously to proceed with the 2020 MLB season after the union's executive board voted down MLB's latest offer of a 60-game season with expanded playoffs. So the proposal, the opening day around July 24th, spring training will start July 1st. Number of teams in the playoffs will be 10. Salary structure, full pro rata, which for 60 games means that players will earn around 37% of their full season salary as long as the truncated schedule is completed. Robbie, what's your take on this?
I don't know if I believe it yet.
Yeah.
I really don't. It's the same thing with the NBA. They pretty much set a date for the playoffs to start. Now we don't even know if we're going to get the NBA playoffs. All it takes is for a couple people to speak out. Rob Manfred did the biggest favor to Roger Goodell ever, because now Rob Manfred looks like one of the worst commissioners out there. This has just been a total disaster to get this. So it started with him with the whole Astros stealing scandal, with how bad he handled that. He's been atrocious with this. I'm optimistic about it. I hope that it works out. I'm not so sure that it will, though. I refuse to believe. Same thing like with the NBA. They pretty much are giving us a date, but we don't know for sure if that date is actually set. Nobody knows. And another thing that bothers me, the Yankees are going to win the World Series this year, which is a beautiful thing. And when they do, it'll upset me if people say that they didn't really earn it because it was a 60-day season. I think it's a lose-lose for the Yankees, which upsets me.
My thought is, if you compare the different professional sports leagues, I think some of them have handled this and come out looking better, and some of them have come out looking worse.
Hockey looks great.
Hockey, exactly. These guys have been quiet, safe about it. They want to get to work. And it's just classic hockey. It's like humble, and it seems like they have a very good system set up for their playoffs, which are starting soon. The NBA is a little bit lower, and then baseball is kind of the worst. I also think that I used to think that the sports leagues that were starting later would be better off because they'd have more time for Corona to kind of wipe out, or maybe a vaccine to be developed and stuff. And now what I'm thinking is that the leagues that are going to start the quickest are going to be able to get their seasons done. And then in the fall, I'm really feeling like there's going to be a second wave, and a lot of those fall sports are going to get completely canceled. And it would be a shame, but I just think I would love to see the NBA complete its season this summer, the NHL complete its season this summer. At this point, I don't really give a shit about baseball. And if the football season misses a season, it's too bad too. But
that's when all hell would break loose.
Yeah, I think that's kind of where things stand right now. Sorry, that was a terrible take, but I'm not a big. You guys know me.
You
Not a
know
big
what?
sports
People are kind of just going with the flow now. I think fans are kind of going with the flow and seeing how it all works out. When it comes to football, and if NFL Sundays are in jeopardy, I think that's when people lose their shit.
Right.
I think that's it when it would really go off the rails. I think they're kind of playing it out and testing it now, seeing how it's going to go. Come fall, if they don't have a football season set, total different ball game. I think people totally lose it then.
Yeah.
You know who's doing it well is like European soccer. I've been watching highlights of like some of the Premier League games that have resumed. I mean, granted, it's a sport that lends itself well to playing safely because there's not a ton of like hand-to-hand contact, and there's not, you know, a ton of like you don't really run into like or like breathe on. There's a lot of space basically.
Right.
But they've got these empty stadiums. They're piping in the crowd noise, which is a little bit of a weird adjustment. But other than that, like, it's fun to watch. The level of play is exactly the same,
Right.
and we're finishing up a great title run for Liverpool. So
You said, how good does hockey look? These guys haven't said a word. They
Yeah.
just want to go knock each other's teeth out. That's all they want.
No. Goodell will find a way to fuck up the NFL.
Yes, he will.
So we gotta wait with bated breath there because it's gonna be a disaster. All right, folks. That is our Wednesday edition of the Morning Jog. Thank you for listening. We will be back here tomorrow. Stay safe, stay open-minded. We love you. Thank you.
Good stuff, boys.